Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid Lee, and it's time to take a look at the new AAA MMO WildStar that is being developed by Carbine Studios and published by NC Soft. Now, with this being an MMO, it's very difficult to show everything in one video, so this video is going to focus on me basically just explaining the core concepts of the game and trying to look at as many things as possible. Then I'll be doing individual videos on items like crafting, housing, PvP, character creation, the path system, and sort of individual videos on each of the different classes so you can get a better feel for the combat. So let's go ahead and kick this off here. In WildStar, your two factions are the Exiles and the Dominion. The Dominion are the, galactic empire type, and the Exiles are more of the rebellious type. The classes in the game are the Warrior, the Engineer, the Esper, the Medic, the Stalker, and the Spellslinger. Now, if we go back to the factions here for a second, for the Exiles, you've got the Humans, the Orin, the Granok, and the Mordesh. And switching over to the Dominion side, we have got the Cassians, the Draken, the Chua, and the Makari. Now, at the character creation, you're able to select your race class combinations, but one thing that's a little different in this game is you are also allowed to select a path. The path types in this game are Soldier, Settler, Scientist, and Explorer. And basically what this is, it's additional game content based on how you like to play MMOs. So if you're the type who just likes to go around and killing everything and assassinating people, then Soldier is the type for you. If you are more of a social type and you like building things and trying to keep things in order and together, then the Settler path is for you. If you're really big into lore and the story, then the Scientist path is for you. And if you are one of those people who likes to check out every nook and cranny of a zone and unlock the whole map and do all those sorts of things, then the Explorer is for you. So those are the basic options for the character creator. So let's go ahead and, without further ado, jump in game. Alright, I have officially loaded in the game now, and I'll just say here real quick that if anybody has any questions on WildStar, just post a comment below, or you can email me at kidleeasf@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to do some Q&A videos. Okay, now before we get into combat, I want to briefly look at the interface a little bit here. So you can see we have a pretty standard MMO interface. We've got the mini-map in the upper right. We have got the primary quest tracker over here on the right side, and then we actually have a secondary quest tracker for your path missions, which I just brought up here. So I'll go ahead and minimize that. We have got in the lower center, this area here, we have got what is known as the limited action set, and I will go into that here in just a little bit. Here we have our avatar picture, where we have our health bar and our shield bar. And then to the left and the right of the limited action set, we have additional bars where we can put stuff like our mount and our stims and med packs and that sort of thing. All the way over on the left side here, well, we got the chat box, which is disappearing and reappearing. We have this little option right here, which this is actually your mount selector. So if you have multiple mounts, you can click on this and you can just summon whatever mount you want. Down at the very bottom, we have got our XP meter, which is pretty standard. And then we actually have a second meter, and this is our path experience. So you level your path separately than your main levels. You sort of have two different leveling schemes going at the same time. We have got our money indicator, and here we have got our inventory. Now, the way they do the bags in this game is a little bit different. In most MMOs, you have just different bag slots, and you can go between your bags. In this one, how they do it is, if I click on the option here, you actually have 4 bag slots, and they combine together to get your total number of inventory slots. And your crafting supplies are listed here, so they are listed completely separate than the rest of your stuff. So here's your trade skill bag, and then here's your regular inventory. And you do have a drag here to delete and a drag here to salvage any items to get, break them down, get components. And then there's also different kinds of currency. You've got Elder Gems, Prestige, Crafting Vouchers, and Renown Points. And you can actually choose one of those to be displayed here just above your money. So that pretty much covers the basics on that. I'll go ahead and I'll click on this button all the way down here on the lower left. And this basically brings up, absolutely everything else. Now, the first thing to note about the actual interface is this game does support add-ons. And in fact, the entire interface itself is right here. It's all add-ons. The entire interface is add-ons. So that's pretty cool. And since we're in this option, I'll just roll through these here real quick in case anybody wants to see them. But you've got a million different options for what you want to do with your combat, your sounds. Of course, with every other game, there's all kinds of video options. Here's your chat options, HUD options. You can turn things different, on and off. Or do you only want them on during combat or not in combat or whatever? You can get pretty creative with it. Let's see, interface options, key bindings, nameplates, tutorials. All pretty good stuff. So let's go into some of the other things here just real quick. You got the old character screen. And again, pretty standard MMO stuff. Your glove slot, you actually have a shield slot. And the shields in this game have a 50% bleed through. So earlier in the WildStar beta, you would have to completely get through somebody's shields in order to then attack their health, and they determined that was a little too overpowered. So they went ahead and did a 50% bleed through on the shields. So that's definitely one thing to keep an eye on. But yep, head, shoulders, chest, gloves, pants, boot, and then you've got some a little bit stranger stuff. You've got what they call a weapon attachment slot. You have got a system support slot, a gadget slot, and I think this one is misnamed or bugged at the moment, but I think it's basically a necklace slot. And then here's an implant slot. The game does feature a full costume and dye system right from the start, so you're able to, any item in the game you're able to use as a costume piece, so you can set up your own costumes and you can have multiple costume slots. I think as you level, you actually do get even more. Like right now, I'm only level 17, so I only have the 2 slots along with the no slot, so you get more of those. And then we take a look at the stats for this game. Again, with this being WildStar, they went a little goofy with them. So you've got brutality, finesse, moxie, tech, insight, and grit. And then up at the top here, we got titles options. We have reputation and mounts. And in this game, you actually have the ability to customize your mounts. And yes, that is a hoverboard. Let's let me just put it on here real quick for fun. So there you go. And yes, they do work on water. Hoverboards are pretty cool. All right. Let's go back into the options here. But you've got, you've got your group finders, your dungeon finders, you've got all that stuff. Macros. The game features, full guilding. And in fact, there's actually something other than guilding. You have a full social list where you can, set up actual rivals, ignore, suggested. As far as the rivals thing, that, I believe, is how you can get into open world PvP. I mean, the open world PvP is the same as any other game, but you can also set up a straight up rivals list. So even if you're not flagged for PvP, if you have a rival and you run across them, I think you two can engage each other whenever you feel like it. So that's a pretty cool deal. The friends list and the chat are cross-realm, so you can chat with your buddies even if they're not on the same server. But it does give you the option to not only add a player, but you can actually add an account. So once you add their account, they log on to any tune and you can see exactly who they are and what they're doing. So pretty good stuff on that. Actually, if I go back to the social thing, oops, wrong thing, social. Here we go. The neighborhood list, that gets into the housing, which we'll get into a little later. But you also have the ability to create what is called a circle. So let's say you're in a guild, and yet you have a group of friends that is not in that guild. You and your friends can create a circle, and it's sort of a sub-guild, if you want to call it that. And you have your own permissions and your own, chat and everything. So it's sort of just another way to hook up with your friends. So that's a pretty cool option. Let's go ahead and go back to that thing that I briefly closed. And this is the action set builder. So I mentioned briefly, and again, we'll go back to this. In this game, you have a limited action set. So basically, a 1 through 7. And that is all the moves you get. This is not going to be one of these MMOs to where you have, a bar here, a bar on the side, a bar on this side, and you have like 30 or 40 skills. This game does not do that. You basically have to pick from 7. So again, let's bring that back up here. So you do get the 20, 30, 40 moves like in any other game, except for they're broken down into different categories: assault, support, utility, and path. And so between all of these different moves, you have to pick the 8 that you want to go with. And then once you have the 8 you want to go with, you then put points into them to actually build them up. Like here, we have Shred. If we hover over Shred for a second, you can see what the tier upgrade is giving you. And then if you hit, these big blocks, the one in the middle, the one at the end, what do they get for you? The tier 4 and the tier 8 minor or major upgrades. So that's where this game is going to be maybe a little bit different than the other games. There's not straight up trees, so to speak. And then the item that sort of builds off of this is the amp system, which is this. And the amp system, again, is broken into different sectors. You have assault, support, utility, and different hybrids. And then there's actually PvP stuff in here as well. Like this one here, this hybrid AU. This is a PvP offense section here. So just as a demonstration purpose, the guy I have here, let me get him off his hoverboard here. This is a male Orin Stalker that is an Explorer. So that's how you break it down in this game. Male Orin Stalker, Explorer. So if we go ahead and we bring the action set builder back up, I have gone with Shred, Impale, Neutralize, Nanofield, Razor Disc, Stagger, and False Retreat. And then I do have my one path ability, which doesn't really matter at the moment. So the combat in this game is a skill-based combat. It's a movement-based combat that applies a little bit of MOBA-style skill shots. So if we go ahead and go down to the limited action set, and I start hovering over my moves, you'll see a telegraph appears in front of those moves. And actually, if I zoom out here just for a second, you'll see the radius in which these moves are going to hit. So the enemies have these telegraphs as well. Now, one big misconception about this game early on was people would see all these telegraphs coming down, and they're like, oh, it's going to be so easy. You know, you're going to be able to see exactly where the enemy is going to strike you at, and you just move out of the way, and you'll never get hit, and it's just going to be super easy. That could be, that's just totally inaccurate. The telegraph system, you know, levels 1 through 8, it teaches you how to play the game. But after that, the telegraph system and the game itself gets pretty difficult. I mean, I've played a lot of MMOs. I've been playing MMOs since, you know, 2002, 2003. You know, EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies, World of Warcraft, Tabula Rasa, you know, and the list just goes on and on and on. Out of all the MMOs that I've ever played, this one is the most difficult from a combat standpoint, and just a standpoint of trying to not get hit, not take damage, and so forth and so on. So, the Stalker that I have, well, I guess I should actually back up and say that every class in the game has 2 roles, a DPS role and then either a tank or a healer. So the Stalker, which is basically your stealth class, I can be a tank or a healer with this class. So if we look at the limited action set and see what he has here, first of all we have R, which is my innate ability. And again, for the Stalker, it's stealth. Now, since the Stalker has got multiple stances, so if we click on this arrow, it brings up the different stances. Now, currently I'm spec'd DPS, so I'm in the lethal stance, which is the DPS spec. And obviously you can see here, evasive, the blue one, is the tanking stance, and then the green one is sort of a neutral stance. So if we go ahead and hit R, we get out of stealth. So here for just a moment, I will demonstrate what some of these moves look like. So here's Shred, here's number 1. So it's basically just, it's your base attack. And you can see that I have to move around, and I have to manually aim what is in that telegraph in order for me to hit. You know, if we go back to Razor Disc here for a second, you know, again, I'm moving this around. If the enemies are moving, there is a chance that I can miss, which is where sort of the mobile style skill shots come in. You know, you can miss, the enemies can miss. So you have to line up your shots. So this was my number 1. This is sort of my default attack. And that thing, oh, that thing's friendly to me. So number 2 is Impale, and this requires 35 suit power, which is this bar right here. So here's this move. It's basically my power attack, and I can do it 3 times, and now you can see the bar going up again. So number 3, I've got Stagger, and this is one of my stuns. So it's a 2.7 stun. And you'll notice right away this game has excellent animations and particle effects. They're just absolutely fantastic in this game. Alright, number 4 is Neutralize. So basically everything in that circle is going to get hit. It's at the moment it's 892 in technology damage to 5 foes. So I hit that, and my guy basically just spins around and he's hitting everything. So number 5 is a nano field, and it's got a double press. A press 1, press 2. So if I hit it once, it does that, and I got all kinds of purple things going around. And if I hit it again, it sucks everything in. So what it does is on the first press, you know, deals 71 technology damage to 5 foes every 1 second for 5 seconds, and then heal yourself for 25% of the damage dealt. On the second press, the nano field ends, dealing more damage to 5 foes and healing yourself for 25% of the damage dealt. So that is sort of a double tap move. Number 6 is the Razor Disc. So this is a straight line basically, and it is a 30-meter range, 480 technology damage, and it applies an exposed armor to 5 foes. So we'll launch that, and you can kind of see what that looks like. And then finally, what I have on num plus 1 is a false retreat, and this is another double tap. So first, it drops a marker at your position for 5 seconds and leaps me backwards 15 meters. And then on the second press, I leap back to the marker, dealing 248 damage and knocking down 5 foes. And it also destroys an interrupt armor. So just real quick, boom, in and out. So pretty cool stuff. So we'll actually get into some real combat here so I can show you guys what this looks like. Okay, I've switched to zones here. I've found some little robots for us to fight. So, a couple things to note here real quick about the movement system. First of all, this game has double jump. 1 jump, 2 jump. 1 jump, 2 jump. Which is, as far as I know, there's no other MMO that's done that. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't played all of them. And part of the double jump, we also have the dodge roll system, like this. Dodge left, dodge right, dodge whatever direction I want to dodge. So it all sort of comes together with the combat system. Now, the other piece of the combat system that I will mention is a system in the game that they call breakout gameplay. And basically, this is their answer to your stuns, your CC, and your disarms. So basically, if I get stunned in this game, I have to do something in order to counter it. And there's all sorts of other really neat debuffs, I guess is a good word. There's a debuff that will actually blind across your screen to where you can't see anything for a short time. There's also another one where it rearranges your movement controls. So this game does a lot of really cool stuff like that. It's very different. So I'm going to go ahead and engage these robots, and I'm not going to fight them right away. I'm going to let them beat on me here for just a minute so you guys can see some of the telegraphs. So this right here, I selected one of them, and there's 3 little guys under him. So that basically it's telling me that if I pull one of them, I'm going to pull all 4 of them. Or I guess is there 4 of them there or 3 of them there? I guess there's only 3 of them. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull them here. And let's just see what they do for telegraphs. So they're just shooting me. Okay, there's a telegraph. So I'm well out of his range. So he has like a fire AoE thing that he's doing. Do you guys do anything else interesting? Oh, see, he tried to sneak up on me. My shields are basically gone. So it's time to engage. Let's stun them all. You basically just work your way and you go to town. All right, I'm gonna do my in and out. Out and in. Boom. Knock them down. We just go to town on them here, get out of the telegraph, and they're all dead. Now, you see we got some loot laying around here. The game features a loot pinata system. So all I gotta do is hit vacuum loot, and it sucks it all in. So you don't have to go around to every, all the mobs and loot them. You don't have to do none of that nonsense. So, alright, so let's go ahead and stealth and sneak up on these guys. Now, you'll see that some of my moves, like number 2, number 4, number 5, have a circle sort of going around the box. That means that those moves are enhanced by stealth. So I'm going to pop out of stealth, and I'm going to hit my nano field. So we tab target, and we're going to pull 2 of them here. So I'm going to go right in the center here. I'll go nano field, out and in, knock them down, and then I'll go to town on them with the claws. There's one down. Alright, we're going to stun this one. And he's almost dead. There, we got him. Alright. Now, let's see if I can find something here a little bit more interesting. Something that might have a better telegraph. Here's a giant bumblebee thing. We'll stealth, and we're going to start out this time with a power attack right behind him. Just like that. Alright, let's hold off here for a second, see what he has for telegraphs. Okay, so there's a telegraph down. He does like a swipe. What else do you got? Do you have anything else? Come on, B. What do you got? Okay, there we go. That's a stun. So I got to hit Q to get out of it. You saw the thing pop up on the screen? It pops up with a random key that you have to press to get out of your stun. Okay, he's laying down these spike... Oh, they're spike things, and he actually got hit by a spike thing. Oh, there's a big thing going down there. Okay, it's time to end this. Stun him. Going for our big moves. And he is dead. But yeah, that was just a little sample of breakout gameplay there. He stunned me, and it came up with a random key. In that case, it was Q. I had to hit Q, and it got me out of the stun. For if you ever get knocked down, all you have to do is dodge roll in any direction, and that gets you out of your knockdown. If you ever get disarmed, your weapon, in this case my claws, actually get thrown out somewhere into the game space, and I have to like roll over and pick them up, and then it auto equips them, and then I can resume my attacks. But the combat system in this game is really fun. It's very different than anything else I've played before. I'd say the closest thing is maybe Terra Online. So this time, let's go ahead and start with number 4. My spin move. We'll stun him. And then we'll do an out and in. Real quick. And he's knocked down on the ground. And we just... Ooh, look at that. That's different, Telegraph. His buddy didn't do that. Be interesting to see what that would have maybe done. What do we have over here? We have a giant tank, which I have something to do with. Now, if we stop here for a second, we'll open up the big map. The maps in this game are pretty good, but you can clearly see where all your quests are. The quests are numbered. Like right now, I literally have how many? I have 10 quests. So here's actually 1, 2, and 10. You can see these little icons here. These are my Explorer missions. And then you can see I have more quests in the area to pick up. Let me switch over to a different map, a map that I already have uncovered. Let's see, do I have Algorok? No. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Here's a map that I have mostly uncovered. But I don't have any quests on this map. But again, you can see it's pretty detailed, and you can actually, you can zoom in. And, here's Dark Hollow and the Exosite. So, yeah, it's a pretty good map system. The other thing I'll point out here real quick is, visually, people say, oh, the game looks cartoony, or the game looks old, or something along those lines, and you've got to try and separate, old graphics versus cartoony versus, what maybe it looks like World of Warcraft or whatever. That's actually a big thing. Everybody says, oh, this looks identical to World of Warcraft. I mean, I played World of Warcraft a long time. I'll admit that I haven't played, any of the brand new stuff, like the Panda one. So maybe they changed the graphics, but in my opinion, this looks nothing like World of Warcraft. And they've put so much more detail into this game. I mean, this is... There's so many like subtle details in this game. Like a lot of people have talked about the character movement and character animations. Like if we actually zoom in on this guy, and let me turn off the interface here for a second. Let's take away the claws. There we go. But there's so many subtle animations in the characters. Like his eyes are moving around, he's blinking, he's sort of swaying a little bit. His tail's moving back and forth. His ears are sort of moving a little bit. And it's so much better than most of the other MMOs out there. It's like, sure, the other MMOs, the characters maybe kind of sway a little bit, but it's like their eyes don't necessarily look around, or, sometimes they'll blink, sometimes they won't blink, but these character models are just so much better, or so much more lifelike, in my opinion. And something that I've said in my character creation videos, in most, if not all, other MMOs, when they were actually doing the character movements, behind the scenes, they do their green screen, capture animations to do the character movements. In other MMOs, they'll do one capture for all of the race class combinations. In WildStar, they did a different motion capture for every male-female race combination. So they're all different. So that's pretty cool, I think. Alright, I've switched over to a different area so we can maybe try and see some telegraphs from some different creatures. So here's some level 18s. We'll see what these guys can do. Alright, what do you little guys got? Anything interesting? Are you just gonna... Alright, there's a little something. Like little poison clouds, apparently. Whoa, there's a big one. Alright, I think it's time to get killing them. Nanofield up. Oh, that was a whole, like a half moon circle on that deal. Oop. We'll see if I can recover out of this. I took a lot of early damage there. See if I can heal up with my nano. Oh, and we just got a challenge. So the game features a challenge system. They're activated randomly. Like that one, if I kill so many of them creatures, I can get a bronze, a silver, and a gold level challenge, and then actually get rewards based on that. So you know what? Let's see if we can actually maybe do this. Actually, I don't see any more of them little things around here though, which is not good. Oh, there's some over here. All right, we're talking business here. Stun you fools. Nanofield up. They got their half moon circle thing going. Big move. So you can gotta tell, even from these little guys, these telegraphs are everywhere. Almost out of my range a little bit. Crazy. And another really cool thing about this game is they got Fred Tabashore to do a bunch of the voiceover work. And so he'll come on screen and he's like, double kill, triple kill. You know, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Well, we're at 27% with 7 minutes left. Most of the challenges are a lot shorter than that. Now, there's actually an Explorer mission there, but I'm not going to do that because we are... Whoa, there's a thing. There's a really big thing, which is not part of this challenge. Stuff's just popping out of the ground. You'll see, like, the animals and stuff will actually fight each other. Here's, like, a bad guy fighting, like, other bad guys. And he's like, they're doing their telegraphs on each other. Open world PvP in this game is nuts, let me tell you what. Because you can accidentally pull animals into the fight, and they'll start going after you and stuff. It's crazy. I think you guys need a razor disc. Double kill. Double kill. Oh, here's a discovery. Another something they put in the game. There's so many neat little things they put in this game. So this is a buffing station of some kind, which I'm going to have to get here in a minute because we've engaged a bad guy. I'm going to stun you, stop you from doing your telegraph. Nanofield up. Let's do an in and out. Knock him down. Oh, we got more guys to the party. Let's stun them all. Oh, I can't. It's off. I need 11 more seconds on that deal. Nanofield up. Big move. You can see it's getting really crazy with just a couple of guys. Double kill. See if I can dodge out of that. Get in here, stun him. You are not gonna kill me. There, we got him. Alright, let's see what this is. Increases your assault and support power by 2% for 9 minutes. Very nice. Alright, stealth here. Kill this guy. Let's start with a strong move from behind. Razor disc. We'll back up here for a second. Throw that. We'll weaken him. Big telegraph's going down. Let's stun him. Nanofield up. Roll out of that. Big move. And he's dead. Alright, I'm at 55%. What do we have here? This little robot has some... Oh, it's a camera. Alright. Oh, another challenge. Oh, great. 2 challenges going at once. What is this one? Steal cameras. Okay. Well, I'm not really seeing any of them little... Okay, here's some cameras. Okay. We can do this, maybe. 40%. This one might be easy. We'll stealth out here. Go after this guy. Get the nano field up. We'll stun him. Big move. Big move. Oh, telegraph going... Ah! Jesus. Look at them telegraphs go. Nice try, pal. Took down my shields. Camera, 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 camera. There's one over here. %. Cameras, little cameras. Don't see. Here's one over here. This should put me... Ah, crap. What do you want? Stun you. Nano field up. Spin move. This guy is a wind elemental. There's a knockdown. We'll dodge roll out of it. Dodge roll to the side. I'm out of dodge rolls, and I am actually going to die on my video. Crap. Wow, that was not cool. Well, I guess it shows the death screen anyway. So you have two options. You can actually pay money to wake here, or go to the nearest hollow crypt. So we will go to the nearest hollow crypt. But at least that was a pretty decent look at the combat system there. Alright, what I'm going to go ahead and do here just for a minute is I'm going to stop my commentation, and I'm going to crank up all the sounds just so you guys can get a feel for what this combat looks like. I'll do it for a couple of fights, and then I will resume. So everybody enjoy this.
Double kill. Double kill. Triple kill. Super kill. Double kill. Triple kill.
Okay, I have now switched over to a medic. And as you can see, Kidley the medic, the weapon of choice is a resonator, which are those goofy things that he has in his hands. So I will just show a little bit of combat on the medic. The medic is sort of a mid-ranged caster, if you want to call him that. So the first move I have got, I'll try and position the guy so you can see the telegraphs a little bit here. Move number one is a discharge. So it's just a forward-facing DPS move, as you can see here. Number two is Gamma Rays, which is a charge ability. And Gamma Ray also uses these little blocks that I have here on the screen. I can only do it so much, and you can see the blocks start to go away. Number three is basically a quick stun. And you see it's sort of in a, almost like a baseball field, sort of triangle-ish type design. And then this guy, I do have him set up as a healer, by the way. Nullifier is I have on number 4, and it allows me to create guess it doesn't actually show the telegraph for that until after I hit it, because this is a special move that you hit it once, and then it allows you to place it wherever you want. So we'll hit it once, and we can hit it twice. And so any enemies that are in this area here, they are slowed and they take damage. And then on 5 and 6, I have just a couple of heals. This is a straightforward heal. If I were to actually, if I was healing in, in a dungeon or whatever, I'd have to follow the tank or whatever around and basically do this. So that's option 1 on my heal, and then heal number 2 is a hot, which I hit that, and it gets a little probe on everybody in the area. And if I zoom way out and get out of the trees, you can see how big that area is. It is 30 meters. So it's 4 allies. But the medic class can, well, obviously be a healer or a DPS is their specialty. So let's go ahead and see if we can't kill a couple of guys here real quick, and I'll just show you a little bit of medic DPS. Here's a wolf fighting a couple of sheeps or cows or whatever. So I'm running around avoiding the telegraphs. Oh, we've got some birds involved now, and there's actually somebody else here that was sort of helping me. But I'm just keeping on with that default move, then I can switch over. We'll do a quick stun. Now he's stunned. We do gamma rays. We pump him once and he's dead. There's too many people around here. I gotta find a spot where there's no people. Here we go. This is a... Alright, we'll start out with gamma rays. Hit him twice. And there we go. They're dying pretty quick. I am level 13 and these are level... Well, here's a level 10. That guy was a level 9. Get in here for gamma rays. We'll just sort of backtrack as he chases us. We'll see if we can do our quick stun. There, he's stunned. Hit him up with gamma rays again. And he's dead. Let's do our big field here. Let's hit up all these cows over here. Whoops. Don't want to heal the cows. There we go. Now I'll actually roll back in. Make a march through the field. You can see they're trying to lay down their telegraphs a little bit. And there you go, a bunch of dead cows. And the bird landed, and the bird is like eating the cows. They got a lot of just really cool little dinky stuff. So here's the guy who's actually injured. I'll come up here and I'll actually heal him a little bit here. Apply my probe on him. Now he has a little probe here for a few seconds. And he'll get all healed up and be good to go. But yep, that is... just a very, very quick look at the medic combat. Like I said, I'm going to try and do individual videos on all the classes, showing a lot more of the moves. So, let me go ahead and talk about a couple other things that are in the game, because this video is already running pretty long. Let's talk about what type of dungeons are in this game. There are actually, along with raiding, there are a few different dungeon types. You have what they call ship hand missions, which are scalable 1 to 5 person content. You have got adventures, which are straight up 5-man dungeons, if you want to call them that. Then you actually have straight up dungeons, which are also 5-man. And then you have, in the housing area, you can actually have your own sort of mini dungeons on your sky plots. And those are called expeditions, and those are scalable 1 to 5 man. So they have a pretty good variety of different dungeon types and raids. They have both 20-man and 40-man raids, so they're definitely going old school on that. Let me talk briefly about PvP. In most MMOs, when the game launches, they maybe have 2 different kinds of PvP. They'll have open world and battlegrounds, or open world and arenas. In this game, you're getting everything from day one. Open world, battlegrounds, rated and unrated, arenas, 2v2, 3v3, and 5v5. And you're getting the new thing, which nobody else has done, the 40v40 war plots. And what a war plot is, it's basically the housing system, but with PvP. So basically, you get what is basically a fort, and you're able to completely customize that fort, both the offensive and defensive abilities of that fort. You can even do really crazy stuff like in your guild, if you have a a PvE team who's doing all the dungeon runs or all the raids, your PvP team or PvE team can actually capture the raid bosses, and you can then put the raid bosses on your war plot. So that's really cool. But there's a couple other like the devs just released a war plot video, and it's really cool. It's something that I can't really show at the moment because I don't really have access to it, but it's a really cool a feature that they're going to have in the game. So let me briefly talk about this path system. I mentioned the different path types, and the Stalker I was playing earlier, I mentioned that he was an explorer. Well, this guy here, he is a settler. So I want to show you what the settlers can actually do. Like, as you can see, we're entering a town here. So the settlers can actually build things in the towns and throughout the wilderness that players are able to use. We're actually coming up on that area now. This little area here, these are basically buff stations that players created. So as I've been running around, especially out in the wilderness, I can pick up resources, and then I can use those resources to build these buildings. So let's go ahead and click on these. We'll get buffed up here. So there's an experience boost for 19 minutes. And then this one will come up and it'll ask me, what type of resistance do I want? Do I want a physical, attack, or a magical resistance? I'll go ahead and take a physical. So now I have a physical resist for 19 minutes. Now, there's this little pad on the ground here. I can actually click on this pad as a settler, and it's giving me a bunch of options. It's like, what do you want to build? You know, there's speeders, there's the boost stations, there's vendors. So there's special things basically that are in the towns and out in the wilderness that won't be there if players don't actually work on them, don't build them. So again, I think it's a really cool feature to really sort of kickstart the player base and the community and all that. So here for the speeder, for instance, I'll click on that, and actually people have been doing pretty good on it. I think this is one of the highest I've ever seen one of these, 3 hours. It's a good job, people. So I can go ahead and add time to it. So I have enough resources, so I'll click on it, and I will add time. So now if we go back and do it again, well, it's 3 hours and whatever minutes I added. But that is an example of stuff people can build. Again, this vendor that's here, this vendor is player built. So that vendor wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the players. Now let me show you something really cool. There was a big player project that was going on way over here. This building over here, this like fenced-in building, it's like a jail. We'll go to the top of this this tower here. This was all player built. This little jail area. This was all player built through a very massive project that they were working on. But it's stuff like that. It's really cool stuff. There's big projects, little projects, but just little things like that. And then as you're running around, sometimes you'll see like okay, this little thing right here. This thing's blinking, and you see this little triangle here. This is a settler structure that's basically damaged. So if I click on it, I will basically fix it, and now the torch is lit. So it's basically fixed now. And I get points. I get both settler points and rep points for fixing that. So that's pretty cool stuff. So here's another thing that's blinking. We'll go over here and fix this here real quick. But the other path missions, the explorer and the scientists and the soldier ones, they're all very, very different. The other 3 are nothing like what I've been showing you here. So it's pretty cool stuff. Actually, here's something. What's this over here? This is a an evidence. Okay. So I've got a little crate above my head, and I think if I take it, all the way over here, there is a girl that will accept this. And I think, yeah, this girl over here. So let's see what happens when I give this to her. So basically what that did, along with giving me more rep, is I believe it added time to this structure, so it'll stay up longer. But some of the structures actually have like unique quest givers and unique vendors that you can only get if players make them. So let us move on to the housing system. Alright, I've switched back over to my Orange Stalker. Now, this little button over here, down to sort of the lower right, you have two options. This game does have a recall option, aka Hearthstone, that you're able to put in the different little towns, and you can hearth back whenever you want. But your option 2 is you have an ability to go back to your house, which I will do right now. So we will check out the housing system. Loading, loading, loading. Okay. So a couple things about the housing system. I would say that the housing system in this game is a tie for first on the best housing system ever. It's tied with the original Star Wars Galaxies. And I'll tell you why it's a tie. Basically, the housing system in WildStar, you get more than just a house. As you can see, it's a big piece of land. And it features a full freeform placing system. So it's not like Lord of the Rings Online, to where you get an item and it can only go in certain places. I can place stuff wherever I want, inside and outside the house. Now, in Star Wars Galaxies, the freeform placing was inside the house only. Now, in Star Wars Galaxies, you could put down your house, virtually anywhere in the game space. And then people would be running along, and they would just run into your house, and there was, that sense of community, and you could, put all your player houses together and build your own towns and do all that stuff, which was really cool. Now, the freeform placing system in this game is better than Galaxies. It's almost identical, but this game has a much nicer interface, and it's much easier and nicer to move around items. So WildStar gets the thumbs up on that. Now, this game does feature neighborhoods. Like, way out there in the distance, you can see somebody else's sky plot, and there's another sky plot, and there's one down there. So it's like there's other people's around, but if I want to go over to that sky plot over there, I basically have to teleport to it. So if we bring up the social thing again, we'll go to the neighborhood list. So this breaks down a couple different ways. All of your friends, your guildmates, or whatever, you add them as your neighbors, and then you can freely go to their place whenever you want, which I will demonstrate here in a moment. And then other people who are not your friends, not your your guildmates or whatever, you can go to their places as well, and you basically have to bring up a list. Like here, I just brought up a list, and here is sort of a list of like all the people's places that I can go to. So if you want, you can open your stuff up to the public. If you want to keep it private, you can do that. You can still open it up to the public for viewing, and then the public can't like mess with your stuff. You can totally do that. On the other hand, the game features a roommate system, so not only can your friends come over, but if you want, you can have your friends like help you manage your sky plot. So it's pretty cool. But so let me throw up a couple of the interfaces here. Like I said, I'm going to do an actual housing video, which really gets into the deep part of this, but I'm going to try and show a little bit here. So on the outside of the house, you've got the main house, which is here, and you can actually pick between different houses. There's a bunch. And then you have 4 small plugs and you have 2 big plugs. And this is for placing like really big items. Like this item here, this is a training dummy like facility. So here's my training dummy and I can sit here and just go to town on them. But other than that, on the outside of the house, like I said, you can do whatever you want. Like you see this giant banner here? I put that banner there. So let me give you an example of how you can actually edit stuff. So we'll zoom way out. We'll flip on editing mode, and I can actually right-click on this. And you see it highlights, and it puts this little thing in the center. So I'll turn that on, and I will turn on advanced options, and here we go. Here's all the options for this banner. So I can actually take this banner, and I can move it around. I can make it way bigger. I can make it itty-bitty tiny. Look how small it is now. Let's actually zoom back in. So now it's like a super small banner. And this green thing here, I can rotate it. And as you can see here, there's a million different options. I can do whatever I want with this banner. So we'll cancel that out. It'll go back to where it was. Here's a tree. Let's zoom back out here. Here's a tree. Click on the tree, and now we can do whatever we want with this tree. We can make it a really huge, giant tree. Now look at the size of that thing. It's huge. Or we can make it like a little baby tree. Oh, isn't it cute? Now I can jump over it. But you can kind of get the idea. And you can do that with anything. Now here, and again, I'll get into crafting here in a minute, so I'm actually going to leave that alone. So let's go inside the house here for just a second. Alright, we're inside the house here. I don't have too much going on in here, but again, like all this stuff, normally your house comes blank. So all this stuff in here I put in here. And you can make it big, you can make it small, you can put it wherever you want. If you want, you can add a second level to your house. You can go to town. Now there is an actual vendor where I can purchase, like here's a list of items. These are just some of the items in game that you can purchase. This is not everything, but this is just sort of a start. There's inside items, outside items, data cubes. Now here's a shelf. Here's beer cans. Here's a bar. There's just, anything you can possibly imagine. I mean, you can spend hour upon hour upon hour just building your stuff. It's absolutely crazy. And I think the last thing that I'll show on the sky plot here is you can actually change the ambience. So if I go, where's it at here? Is it under house? It is. So I can actually change the sky. Let's look at the sky here. Let me zoom all the way in. And we'll sort of look at the sky here a little bit. Right now we're on normal. Let's switch over to Northern Lights. Oop. Let me go back. Northern Lights. Okay. And now the sky has changed. I know it's kind of hard to see with that interface up, but and again, these are all things you can buy, you can customize. Let's switch over to let's really get crazy. Let's go to like snowy. Now it's all like snowy on the sky plot. Let's switch over to starry night. That's cool. Let's see, outer space. Hey, look, there's Nexus way over there. Outer Space 2. But it's really crazy, just some of the stuff you can do. We'll switch back over to normal here. There we go. But in addition to that, you can actually change your house. I mean, here's like different doors for your house. Or the entryway, or the walls, the roof. And if we were to go back inside, you can change the lighting of, like, the mood lighting in your house. So it's the housing system, there's a lot to it, and it's a big part of the game. So, let's go ahead and switch over to crafting. Now, the first thing I'll talk about with crafting is how do you actually get your crafting resources. So, we're going to go back over to this dirt area that I have here on my sky plots, because this is option 1. On your sky plot, you're actually able to have your own mines and gardens and that sort of thing. So this is another area that you can manage to get your resources. So here, for instance, we've got some fertile ground here, and I just happen to have some seeds. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on the ground here, and we'll go ahead and pop some seeds into that ground. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So now they will grow. Takes them about 25 minutes or so to reach maturity, but then we farm them. And we'll have some resources. So that there is option number 1. Alright, option number 2, as you can tell I've switched characters once again, is there are indeed nodes out in the world. So this right here is a tree I can actually cut down, as I am a survivalist. So I pull out my laser chainsaw and I cut down this tree. And again, we get the loot pinata thing going. And we have got some branches, or some wood. So let's look around here. And again, you can see on the mini-map, these green items that are popping up are nodes. And this right here is a settler resource, which I'll grab real quick. Alright, what do we have over here? Here's a half cut down tree. Can I cut down the rest of it? Apparently I can. There's nothing there. We will move along here. Okay, here is a farming yellow bell. I blow that up. Got some seeds. Let's roll over here real quick. There's a couple other items. Here's another yellow bell. We'll blow that up. Grab some seeds. This item here is for relic hunters. If you are a relic hunter, you can grab that. We'll blow that up. Grab some more seeds. But you can pretty much get the idea behind that. Now, in this game, in addition to the auction house, there is a separate auction house for resources called the Commodities Network. And if anybody's played Diablo 3 before they took the auction house down, the Commodities Exchange is going to work very similar to how they did the gems in Diablo 3. Basically, you won't be able to, you know, people adding on resources, they won't be able to necessarily undercut each other. When you go to buy resources, you will not have the option to sit there and, let's say, I want Yellow Bell. And so you type in Yellow Bell, and it's not going to bring up all the listings of Yellow Bell. It's going to bring up one listing, and it's going to say, here's the price. If you want it, this is what you got to pay. So anybody who puts up Yellow Bell on the Commodities Network, that's what they're going to have to do. So, I mean, there will be some flow back and forth, you know, as things change, but it's not going to be a mad scramble. So, back to crafting. Now, real quickly here, I'll click on, I think it's this guy. Yeah. So, this is all of the trade skills in the game. Weaponsmith, armor, mining, outfitter, survivalist, technologist, architect, relic, hunter, tailor, and cooking. And you could also add farming on here and fishing on here. Cooking, everybody gets. And then farming, everybody gets. And then fishing, which is not going to be in for launch, fishing, everybody will get. So basically, from the rest of these, everybody has to pick 2. Now, as far as the actual type of crafting in this game, there's actually 2 completely different crafting types in the game. There is circuit board crafting and coordinated crafting. And I'll demonstrate both of those here just briefly. And again, for super detail, I will be making an actual crafting video because it's a bit more complex than normal. It's way more complex than both WoW and Star Wars The Old Republic. So, I'll click on the crafting station here, and I'm going to go novice architect, let's say here. And this is going to be an example of coordinated crafting. So, let's see here. I want to make a metal platform. I'm trying to see if I have any better options, and I actually don't. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some grass here. So, I'm going to load my schematic. And I will go ahead and do a start craft. So it comes up with this screen here. So even though I loaded the schematic for this particular grass, there's also a green version and a yellow version in this schematic. So, and this is where the coordinated crafting comes in. So I need to basically start adding in resources into my schematic in order to get my grass. But if I land anywhere in this area where I'm moving with my mouse, anywhere in this area, I will get the bulrush grass. But if I can land in this target area or this target area, I will get the green or the yellow green. So let's play around here for a second. We'll go organic, let's say. Let's go glue. And you can see a target area has appeared on the screen. So I'm going to add one glue, and you'll see that the glue is now appeared up here. And so this is where the glue is taking me. Okay, so let's go, let's see here. What's under here? More glue, blinking lights, nail, copper. What else do we have? Blinking lights, screws. And as you can probably tell, we're making grass. I mean, you would think it would be dirt seeds or something, but again, this game's a little crazy. Just for fun, all right, we'll go a heartwood peg, and again, you can see where the new target area is. We're actually almost over top of one of my targets. So we'll go ahead and put on the peg. And you can see that this area is now highlighted, meaning I am in the target zone for that particular item. And you can see over here it says success, but we're not done yet. Let's do one more. So if I were to do an iron screw, we'd be back. If I were to do the blinking light, we would be back. Iron screw, iron nail, copper. You can see how the target area is moving around if I wanted to add another component. But in this case, you know what? Let's not add another component. We've already got our success, so let's go ahead and do it. We're crafting. And there we go. We have some grass for our sky plot if we wanted to put it down. But that's the basics of coordinated crafting. Again, there's a lot more to it, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. I will take a look at there's tech trees. You can see full tech trees, and there's different versions like novice, journeyman, artisan, and down and down and down it goes. And then there's also talent trees for crafting, as you can see here. So again, crafting in this game is pretty crazy. But let me go ahead and switch over. Alright, I have once again switched tunes. And now we're going to take a quick look at the circuit board crafting. So let's go ahead and we need to make up some claws. So we'll go ahead and we'll load up the schematic here. And this is sort of what the default screen looks like. So we'll go ahead and we'll do a start craft. Okay. So we're making some claws for a stalker. First thing we have to do is we have to add in a chip. We got a couple of different chips here. We got a level 12 and a level 10, and we'll just go ahead and use a level 10 for this. And we have an insight over here, and this is completely random on whatever this chip is going to be. On higher level items, you are able to pick it. So right now it's a +9 to insight. So you can see this weapon is going to be 120 assault power, 180 to support with the 9 to insight, which we have over here. And you can see this one over here, we need to add another chip, and there's a red beam coming out of it. So if we click on it, it's telling us that it wants us to use one of these red items: Brutality, Finesse, or Moxie. We could, if we wanted to, use a green or a blue, Tech or Grit, but it doesn't really want us to. So just for this demo, we'll go ahead and we'll use Brutality. And you can see our power level is 32 out of 41. So we can slowly crank it up, and you can see the stat over here is starting to rise. Okay, now we've basically maxed out, and we have a 1% chance to fail. If I continue to max out, the percent chance to fail is going to increase. So if we crank it up one more, it goes to 100%, so we can't even do it. But again, on higher level items, you'll have more wiggle room to actually do your experimentation. So we have a 9, a 6, so that's decent enough. We'll go ahead and we'll hit craft. And we have got us some new claws. But again, that's just a real brief look at the circuit board crafting. It's pretty fun. I've had some pretty good times with it. Let me actually craft, I guess just to go ahead and show you guys once. Let's see, I need a low velocity flux. Let me buy one here real quick. Let's see here, low velocity flux bought. Just wanted to show you guys what one actually looks like when you can maybe play with it a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do a craft on this one. Alright, start craft. Alright, now you can see we can clearly edit everything because it's a higher level item. So we'll add our chip. We'll go ahead and do a level, we'll go ahead and do the level 12 chip. Now this one is green, so it's wanting us to use either Insight or Grit. We'll go ahead and go Insight. Maybe I can make some better healing, or tanking claws, I mean. So we'll crank it up a little bit. Let's go to 10, let's say. And then we'll add another chip, and let's go Brutality. So let's crank this up a little bit here. We'll go 10 and 10. Okay. Now we're at 228, 152, 10 and 10. So now we can start to wiggle our way up a little bit more. Let's do one more here. Okay, now we're at a 3% chance to fail. Can we do one more here? Nope, that's about 100%. So let's back off. Let's back off. What if I do one over here? That's a 5% chance to fail. What if I do one over here? Okay, that's back up. That's 100%. So it looks like we can back off at an 11 and 11 and crank that back up. So we can do an 11 and 12. That's decent enough. And let's go ahead and craft and hope we don't hit that 3%. Survey says, hey, we made it. But yep, there's just a quick look at the different crafting types, and like I said, it's definitely more complicated than the other MMOs out there, but it's not quite as crazy as like the original Star Wars Galaxies. That game still had the best crafting system ever. Well, I think it's time to go ahead and wrap this up. I think this video's been rolling for over an hour, but I'll just end this with a few more items. The game has an imbuement system, which is basically a quest that actually come on items. So you'll get an item and it'll have like 10 to 15 different quests on the actual item. As you do those quests, the item gets more stats, so it has crazy stuff like that. The game itself has a lot of story in it, and a lot of it does not actually start until cap. The devs were actually quoted as saying that they have 1.5 years of content ready to go for post-launch, which is something that really nobody else can say. They've really taken the mistakes of every other MMO and tried to make sure that they didn't do it in this game. I guess my overall opinion or review of this game is that I think it's fantastic. It's different enough to where it's not really a true cookie cutter. It's not like Warcraft. It's not like, Elder Scrolls. It's not like SOTOR. It's not like any of the other ones that are out right now. I mean, if I had to, if somebody asked me, you know, which one is it like the most, I'd have to say Terra, just because of the combat system. But again, there's all the subsystems are just so different. It's hard to compare it to anything else. But yeah, I think it's a great game, and I hope everybody gives it an honest, fair shot. And it'll be really interesting to see how the game looks, you know, years and years down the road. But, yep, I think that will go ahead and do it, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for my continuing coverage on WildStar and all of my more detailed videos and much shorter videos, hopefully to come in the near future. Like I said, housing, crafting, some PvP, some group stuff. We'll be looking at the different dungeons and raid types and all that in the years to come. So you gotta wave goodbye, Koss. Wave goodbye. Stop looking around. Wave goodbye. Ah, there you go. Good job. All right, that's gonna do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, if you have any questions, email me questions, and I'll do a Q&A video. So, with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.